Hi everybody, what's up? How are we? I'm feeling great because we got double the content this week because we got our trailer. If you haven't watched my trailer video, go look at it. It's awesome. It's shorter than my regular videos, so it's not even gonna take you as much time. Okay, for this episode, this was the episode we've been waiting all season for. And I know I say that every week, but they just do a good job at building up the plot. So yes, guys, the rumors are true. This was the episode that the wedding was supposed to take place. See how I said supposed to take place? It didn't happen. We won, guys, we won. Here's our wall of sticky notes, so let's get to it. We pick up this episode right where we left off at the end of last episode. So we wake up and Belly is in her bed. She has mascara streaked down her face. And I love that they kept that in because as she was going to bed, I was sitting there thinking, wow, she didn't take off her makeup. So good that they left her mascara and eyeliner streaks all over her face. She is just miserable looking. The Story of Us by Taylor Swift and Gracie Abrams is playing. She gets a message from Jarrah saying, hey, I'm already out on the boat fishing. I'll see you later today. Love you, whatever. She messages him back with a voice note saying, oh, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Deadpan, straight face. I love you. I can't wait to see you. Me senses a split on the horizon. Taylor is also already gone. She says she's out on a run. Everybody else is kind of doing their thing, so Belly is just left to recover from last night. Side note, the text messages that they show between her and Belly are like real text messages, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when shows can't like actually just put in like 2 extra text messages above the ones that the characters are currently sending. This show does a good job at like making it look realistic because they actually have like other conversations in their text and it's not just like a blank space above where the new texts are. A long sticky note, yay! Okay, Belly goes downstairs and of course, like I mentioned, everybody's off doing their own thing. That is except for Conrad. Conrad is there. Conrad is in the kitchen when Belly comes downstairs. Conrad pulls his famous move where he's like, hey, you know that thing that I said last night? Don't even worry about it. And Belly's like, no, you can't just say that the night before or 2 nights before my wedding and then just be like, just kidding, just kidding. And he's like, oh, do you not want me to be kidding? And she's like, oh my God, I can't. And low-key, I was siding with Belly there for a moment because I was like, wait, he is a little bit evil for doing that. Like, I get it because I'm on his side and I want him to be with her, but like in the grand scheme of things, if you dated a guy for like 4 months, 4 years ago, and suddenly now at your wedding, he's like, I've always been in love with you. I've always loved you. You'd be like, what are you doing here? So like, I get where she's coming from. Belly kind of clocked his tea. She was like, I know what you are. You're a liar and you're a manipulator. Like, you can't just do this. You're evil. Like, what do you want from me? I have in my notes verbatim, they clocked in at the tea factory, called them the American revolutionaries the way they're spilling this tea. And at this point, this is when Conrad starts to be like, oh wait, I told her that I loved her and the world didn't end. Like, I think I'm gonna do it all the time. So now he starts winning the I don't gaff war. He really starts winning because he's just unbothered at this point where he's like, oh yeah, like, is that what you really want? Do you really want to be with him? Like, you really want me to leave? Are you sure about that? Like, he is just unbothered now because now he's like, oh wait, I put it out there and now, based on the way that she's responding to me, I can tell that she still likes me. So he is just throwing his I love yous left, right, and center now. During this confession, they play With or Without You for You Too, which, like, considering the fact that the main demographic for the show is like women ages 24 to like 50, makes sense. They're hitting with their key audiences. He basically just ends the conversation saying like, listen, I'm not pretending for you anymore, and like walks out. And Belly says in her voiceover, I've never felt more alive. You're marrying Jeremiah, his brother, in one day, and you've never felt more alive than fighting with Conrad in your kitchen? Never ever? Belly says she realizes she'll never be able to let him go as he storms out of the house. Belly runs upstairs and in her contemplative state goes and finds the Junior Mint doll, which if you'll remember, Conrad won for her at the fair. And she takes it out of the closet and she has, gasp, the infinity necklace around Junior Mint's neck. And she looks at it and then she's like, ah, no, and then puts it away. But like the fact that you kept it, the fact that you held on to it, it's all saying something. Conrad comes back to apologize to Belly, presumably, and he has the good muffins from season 1. Yeah, remember how they always talked about the good muffins? He has a box of the good muffins, and he's walking to the house, and Taylor pulls up from her run, and she's like, no, you screwed with Belly's head last night. Like, I need you to back all the way up. And Taylor's doing a great job standing up for her bestie. Like, she's standing on business like, no. Like, you cannot keep screwing up her life. And she's like, Conrad, when you told her that you still love her, like, did you really think that she was going to just blow up her life for you and run off into the sunset? And he's like, yeah. Yeah, I did. What's wrong with that? I would always think she will. Taylor is like, listen, you can keep doing it and you might get what you want, but I don't think you can be the man that she needs you to be. Belly and Taylor go to the spa. Taylor's just like, by the way, I saw Conrad. And Belly's like, oh my God, what did he say? And Taylor's like, nothing, but I told him to like basically screw off. And Belly's like, right, yes, good. Okay, cool. Belly and her family arrive at the country club for the rehearsal dinner. Conrad and Jeremiah and everybody else is already there. Conrad is in all black, fittingly, for the funeral of his love life, right? The song Bizarre Love Triangle plays, and like they were definitely just on Spotify looking up like songs that apply to love triangles, and they were like, okay, Bizarre Love Triangle, let's put it in. They probably has a whole Spotify playlist of it that's like songs that apply to Belly Conrad in Jeremiah in the love triangle. Stephen, Taylor, Conrad, in that order, walk arms linked down the aisle in like a sleigh off of sorts, because they knew this was their one opportunity. They knew they would not be walking down the aisle at the actual wedding because they knew it wasn't going to happen. They were like, we have to take this opportunity to slay when we can. We get to the rehearsal dinner. Conrad actually makes an effort to be nice to Kaylee. Stephen and Denise flirt while Taylor watches Taylor and her mom make up, but in between Conrad looking miserable, Belly and him are like stealing glances, and it's like, as Taylor Swift once said, are stolen glances in crowded rooms. Belly and Jeremiah have a speech where they're like, oh my God, thank you guys all for being so awesome, and they basically call out every single person, and they're like, thank you for doing this, you for doing this, you for doing this, whatever. Belly has some very sweet things to say about Taylor, and Jeremiah is like, Conrad, I love how loyal you are. Ooh, he's loyal to Belly. I wouldn't say he's loyal to you right now, baby. As Belly and Jer are standing up at the reception, Adam says to Jer, he's so happy that Jer decided to take the job with the company in the fall. That's right. Yep. If you're freaking out, screaming, crying, throwing up, that's the same reaction we all had and Belly had. Belly's like, hey, what's that? So he never actually told her about this. I have no clue what is going through her mind, but she's just kind of like, okay, well, let's just talk about this in the future. Like, please, if my soon-to-be husband took a full job, was gonna move to a different place, had a whole different life plan, and didn't tell me, he wouldn't be my husband, I fear. After the rehearsal dinner, Jer invites Conrad to go out to ice cream with him and Belly, and Conrad wants to say yes, but Belly's like, don't go. So he has to say no, and then Jer gets pissed at him for saying no, and it's like, talk to your fiance about that because she's the one that made him do that. So Conrad is sitting at home alone while everybody else is out at ice cream, and Laurel just comes and comforts him, and it's a nice parallel to like their conversation in season 1, and like they just have a very sweet little special relationship. At the ice cream place, Stephen and Denise finally kiss, and there's no sparks. They actually say it's like kissing a plant, actually. They have nothing, which, well, at some points I do feel like it's a cop-out. I do think it was a good choice in this situation because that way we preserve everybody liking Steven and everybody liking Denise. There's no reason that people are going to start to hate either one of them because it's all going to work out in the favor of Steven and Taylor, which is what mostly everybody wants. So that's a way to get Denise off without getting like all the hate. You know, she's not the reason for any of their downfall. Like they tried it and they were like, oh, actually, not for me. And so now they get to just be business partners, sans the complication of also being lovers. It's the night before the wedding, and Belly is going to bed in her little red pajama set. Yep. And she's laying in bed and she can't fall asleep. Making the Bed by Olivia Rodrigo is playing in the background. Yeah. And Belly, in true Belly fashion, when she is trying to work through a problem in her head, decides to go for a night swim. She goes and gets a bathing suit out of her dresser, and it is a fully like bright red two-piece. As she's swimming, it just reminds me of the scene from season 1 and the scene from season 2 where she's swimming and then she pokes her head up and Conrad is sitting there and they have a little conversation. It just like, I was waiting for him to be sitting there and he wasn't at all, but like it felt like it was mirroring those, but he wasn't there. And the conclusion that she comes to while she's swimming is that she is going to tell Jer what Conrad said to her last night. So Belly goes and wakes up Jer and tells him that Conrad said that he's still in love with her and that he wants to be with her and all these things. And Jeremiah is appropriately annoyed and thrown off. And Jeremiah says that he's known that Conrad was in love with Belly for like ever, which is like, but then why did you swoop in and steal her if you knew? Whatever. He asks her if the wedding is off and she's like, no. And then she falls asleep in his room. However well Belly thought Jeremiah took it, that was not the case, because when she wakes up, Jeremiah's gone. Nobody has seen him all day. They don't know where he is. Steven gets into Big Brother mode and he's like, listen, we're gonna find him. I got you, don't even worry about it. Because Belly tells Steven, listen, Conrad told me he's in love with me and I told that to Jeremiah. So Steven goes and hunts down Conrad and is like, have you seen Jeremiah? Conrad has not seen Jeremiah. And Steven's like, I can't even look at you, dude. Like, what? Like, you suck for doing that, basically. Which, again, at this point, Steven and Conrad used to be like besties. And then Conrad disappeared from his life for 4 years. So, like, I get the anger. Conrad figures out that Jer's gone. And Steven asks, like, did you really think that she was gonna go for you after you declared her love? And he was like, maybe. Steven leaves, telling Conrad to find Jer. Belly arrived at the country club and she's getting ready. And the whole time that we see her in her like dressing room getting ready for this entire episode, she's always alone. Like none of the bridesmaids, her mom, nobody's in there with her. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why would you leave her alone? Like, I get Taylor is looking for Jeremiah, but like, Laurel, why aren't you with your daughter? Like, the concept of leaving a bride alone on her wedding day for the entirety of the time before the wedding. Laurel pops in to the room for like 2 seconds and drops off a letter that Susanna wrote for Belly before she passed away. And Susanna told Laurel, give this to Belly on her wedding day. Susanna apparently also wrote a letter for Conrad and a letter for Jeremiah. And she said she left Jeremiah's letter with Conrad. So Conrad has Jeremiah's letter right now. And Laurel, by the way, does not know that Jeremiah is gone. Or at least I don't think she knows. If she did know, she was playing it very chill, so I don't think she knows. Conrad finds Jeremiah at Susanna's grave. Conrad's like, listen, dude, I'm sorry. Do you want to punch me to make you feel better? And Jeremiah's like, no, that would just make you feel better, which is true for sure. But Jeremiah basically just starts accosting Conrad, and Conrad's like, you know what? Like, I know about Cabo, so really I should be asking you if you know what's best for her. And then Jeremiah punches him in the face and then punches him again in the stomach and knocks him to the ground. And I'm getting deja vu to when Jeremiah punched and then tackled Conrad in the season 1 finale when he found out that Conrad had been keeping the fact that Susanna had cancer. Conrad then tells Jer, I love her. He's just, once he said it once, it was like the floodgates are open. He's just going to tell anybody who's willing to listen. Call him Charles Lee, the way he started saying this to anybody who would listen. Hamilton reference. Moving on. Conrad gives Jeremiah his letter. Jeremiah reads it and just starts sobbing. And he tells Conrad, I will go back to the wedding, but it's not for you. You are never going to see me again. We are not family again. You're never going to see Belly again. And by the way, this isn't my letter. And hands Conrad the letter. And on the top of it, it says, Dear Conrad. The concept of them showing us in season 2, Susanna writing the letters, and then Belly coming in, Susanna dropping the letters, and then just kind of shoving them into envelopes, and now us finding out that she accidentally put Conrad's into the Jeremiah envelope. Absolute cinema. I love it. I love it. And the letter is great. If you take the time to pause it and read it, Jenny Han posted screenshots of exactly what the letter says, which I'll put here. And if you dissect it line by line, you can see that all the things that she tells Conrad to do, he's basically already done in the show for Belly, which is so He is so Susanna. Susanna is so him. Taylor tries to calm Belly down and she's like, listen, is it really the worst thing if Jeremiah doesn't show back up? And Belly's like, wow, what's that supposed to mean? And Taylor's like, listen, I don't think that you should get married. And so then Belly starts being like, you're so selfish, you're the worst person ever, you suck, you suck. And Steven steps in and he's like, whoa, what we're not gonna do is hate on Taylor because she's like the only real good friend that you have. So let's back all the way off of her right now. Taylor's just like, Belly, you are codependent, you're not in love. The fact that you would choose Jeremiah over Paris, over your mom, and over Taylor is showing that it's codependency. It's not like love. After Taylor storms out, Steven tells Belly, listen, Jeremiah's back. Just thought you should know. Jeremiah comes back to the country club to find a note from Conrad that basically is giving him their mom's ring and saying that he should give it to Belly and that he's gone. But before he leaves, Conrad the Menace goes to talk to Belly. Conrad just apologizes a whole bunch. He tells her he's leaving and he won't see her for a long, long, long time. But he says that it was all worth it. To him, loving her was all worth it, which... And she really doesn't talk at all during this interaction. And he says, like, goodbye. And he gives her a sweet little forehead kiss. And the song Friday I'm in Love, but the Phoebe Bridgers cover is playing during this. And in her internal monologue, she's just waxing poetic about how sad it is that she's never gonna see Conrad again and it won't ever be the same. And so in her head, she says, bye-bye, Birdie. And we see a clip of him as a kid running away. And it's like, Steven finds Taylor at the wedding area and is like, listen, what Belly said was not true at all. You're awesome, don't worry. And Taylor's like, oh, yeah, like, I hope you and Denise are having a good time. And Steven's like, pause, I'm not with Denise. We're not together. And Taylor's like, oh. And they may or may not be having a moment, but then they get interrupted. Jeremiah gets dressed for the wedding and goes to see Belly. He's like, all right, let's get married. She's like, wait, can we talk about the fact that you just ran out when we were about to get married? And he's like, I don't think we should talk about that. I actually don't want to talk about that. Let's not talk about that. And he mentions Conrad's name and you can just see her face falter and he just loses it. He spirals and he's basically like, oh, I thought I could do this. I can't. You still love him, blah, blah, blah. Do you still love him? And she's like, I love you. And he's like, not what I asked though, actually. Do you still love him? And we get this inner voiceover of her being like, this is one of those big decisions. You know it'll change the fate of your life. And she says, yes, she still loves him. And then walks it back and is like, but, like a part of her will always love him, but she picks Jeremiah. And Jeremiah's like, see, that's not, in the sense that that's not. He says he knows about Christmas and that he found out right before spring break. And Belly puts two and two together and realizes that's why he started a fight with her right before spring break, was because he was mad that he didn't know about Christmas. The concept of Jeremiah picking a fight with Belly, breaking up with her, sleeping with another woman, and then getting back together with her, but only picking the fight because she happened to spend the night in a house in separate rooms with another man. Jeremiah tells Belly that he actually ended up reading Conrad's letter and that Susanna said that she'd only ever seen Conrad in love once and it was with Belly. Belly actually says something, and in the moment, I don't think she's aware of why it's bad, but she says that when Susanna died, her and Jer basically put each other back together, and now she doesn't know where Jer starts and she stops. Which is like, okay, wait, so that's just codependency, exactly like Taylor said. Like, she clocked you, like, you know, it's good to be self-aware. To end this very sad conversation, Jeremiah says, you can't marry me, to erase him. And they call off the wedding. And as that happens, the song Cardigan by Taylor Swift plays. After Belly and Jeremiah call off the wedding, which again, like, thank God, we've been praying for this day. We worked for it, we dreamed for it, now we're here, and it's finally happened. As Cardigan is playing, Laurel walks into the room to check in on Belly. She doesn't know what's happened, and Belly says, lemon jelly Belly, right? So that is in reference to when Belly was doing the debutante ball in season 1, her mom was like, listen, if there's anything that you need, text me our code word and I'll come pick you up. She's like, do you remember what it was? And Belly's like, yeah, lemon jelly Belly. So that was their code word for like, she needs to get out of there. Like, she wants her mom. So when Laurel comes in post wedding call off, Belly says lemon jelly Belly, which is just so sweet. And we also see Stephen comforting Jeremiah after after they cancel the wedding. To which I say, when is Stephen gonna find out that Jeremiah cheated on Belly? Because I think he'd be changing his tune if he knew what Jeremiah did to Belly. So maybe that's just me. Hey, maybe that's just me. Belly and Jeremiah call off the wedding. She goes back to the summer house, packs a bag, takes a taxi to the airport, and is just like, I'm gonna go anywhere. She sees that there's a flight to Paris very soon, and she uses one of those air mile vouchers that her mom gave her for their bridal shower and uses it to get a ticket to Paris. And as she's online, and Cardigan is still playing, mind you, as she's online to board, she looks to her right, and sitting in the chairs directly to her right is Conrad. And the last thing that we see in this episode is her turning to walk towards him as Cardigan is still playing. So that's basically how we end the episode. All will be right in the TSITPJHU, the Summer I Turned Pretty Jenny Han universe, soon. Trust. By September 17th, Stephen and Taylor will be together. Belly and Conrad will be together. Laurel and John will be back together. They will have resurrected Susanna back from the dead like a zombie so she can be at the wedding, and Jeremiah will fall off a cliff. And all will be right in the TSITPJHU. That is it for this episode. It was a doozy. The next episode that we get is the start of Belly's adventures in Paris, so I'm really excited to see what happens, and it's gonna be so awesome. So stick around and I'll see you next week. Bye.